I was abducted some 15 days after the establishment of Islamic Republic, and one of the first witnesses witnessing the atrocities of this regime that you are now uncovering and investigating. My abductors were arguing between themselves whether they should execute me or they should hold me as hostage in order to put pressure on the organization that I was associated with, namely Fadayan Khalq. Finally, the argument as to whether they should execute me or save my life as a person who had fought against the previous regime ended up with me being imprisoned in one of the old regime's prisons. I was a I was abducted in March 1979 and was released 4 months later, and was one of the first witnesses of the atrocities of the regime in its early days. Is this a question? تکرار بفهمید سوال اولتون به طور مختلف متوجه. Let me translate. The question that has been raised to summarize the gentleman is that that Dr. Matin Daftari, myself, and everyone else had witnessed the atrocities of the regime in very early days of the establishment of Islamic Republic and many victims of that period. What happened to those? They are not included in the process of this tribunal. For instance, the attack that was made on the Kurdish people at the early days of the Islamic Republic and the executions that we all very well know about it, what role that plays in this tribunal? That's the first question.
Can I deal with that question now, please? Because obviously, yeah, I know, because obviously we want to involve everyone. Hamid, can you deal with that?
As we have said a number of times in the previous sessions of Iran Tribunal and the Truth Commission, there is so much that this tribunal can do. We have limited this to the 1980s decade because of the limitation of our resources, limitation of time, and also because this is the bloodiest period during the Islamic Republic of Iran. So unfortunately, some period before that and some period after that and up to today are not included. Yesterday they executed 10 people in Iran. We don't know why. They say they were drug traffickers, but it's highly questionable that these are correct charges. But we don't have the possibility of continuing this unless we limit the period, limit the era within which we are going to investigate this. So this is the beginning, as Dr. Akhavan mentioned, this is the beginning of this investigation. We have done this period of 1360s, 1980s period, and this doesn't mean that there has been no other atrocities before and after that.
Can I add and reassure you, this might need to be translated for you, can I reassure you that we are aware that we have focused on a particular time and a particular area. We know we've done that. Practicalities and pragmatism has dictated that, is the first thing. Secondly, though, we do have a witness in the tribunal who will be referring to background. It's in no way a complete answer to your perfectly proper question. And we are acutely aware that in dealing with a snapshot, if I can put it that way, of these horrible events, we are causing frustration and anger to some extent, as far as other people are concerned. We know this, but we are touching upon it in the evidence. Can I say this, though, that I'm going to draw, I know you have another question, but what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to draw this formal press conference now to a close. But what I'm going to suggest also is that we're going to be around and about for as long as you want to ask us direct questions individually. So I'm going to close the press conference now, because we have been going on some time, and I'm going to invite anyone that's got other questions to put them directly to us, to our faces, as it were, in a moment. And we'll do our best to answer those questions. Can I conclude by saying thank you very much for some very probing and appropriate questions. It's given us an opportunity, if you bear with me, sir, it's given us an opportunity of developing exactly what we want to achieve, and I suppose what we cannot achieve by this process. And I hope that you feel at the end of it on Saturday, we've at least taken some positive steps forward. I'm not going to take any more questions, but would you like to speak to us directly when we sit? I'm not cutting you out. I'm just making it a little more informal for us. All right? Well, that's closing the press conference, but please ask any one of us, and that gentleman as well, please come to us and ask us informally, and we'll do our best to deal with it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
کاری من داشتم؟
پایان خیلی بدجوره،
پایان مسخره از اون الان
خیلی بده، اصلا نمیشه ثابت بگیری.